Welcome to the Innovation and Compliance Podcast, part of the Compliance Podcast Network. Join us every week as we talk with industry innovators who are making compliance to help business run more efficiently and at the end of the day, more profitably. Here's your host, Tom Fox.
Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode, and you are in for a treat today because I have with me Tricia Benn. Tricia is the Chief Community Officer and EVP at C-Suite Network and the Hero Club, both organizations of which I am a proud member. So, Tricia, first of all, with that incredibly long-winded introduction, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you, Tom. Really thrilled to be here with you today.
So, Tricia, this podcast is about innovation, and I cannot think of a more innovative group than the C-Suite Network, yourself, Jeffrey Hazlin, and literally everyone involved with it. So why don't you start off by telling us what is the C-Suite Network and what is the Hero Club?
The C-Suite Network is essentially a platform, a post-digital platform that it literally brings us completely into the world we live in now, digital and virtual life, where we're delivering on everything executives, owners of businesses, founders of businesses, and influencers need to succeed faster. So the goal is just to get everyone there faster. And the way that we do that is by creating an entire ecosystem where we have content creation, distribution, and that's through our digital TV, radio, our live events, and then also the whole community component. And that's kind of the magic of what makes C-Suite Network so special, I think. And that's where we get into how do we create that co-elevation that Keith Ferrazzi speaks of, and really look at motivating each other, inspiring each other, getting the education and expertise that we need, and then also those opportunities to monetize as we network and really get to know each other in that trusted environment that is C-Suite Network.
I have a couple of observations. The first is that one of the things that strikes me the most about the C-Suite Network is that it works on multiple levels. Obviously, we have content. The content is great. It's leadership, it's business entrepreneurial, it is ethics, it's compliance, it's a wide variety of content. There's literally something for every business person. But it's not simply you, Jeffrey, Greg, or someone else giving content to me. It is a network of like-minded business professionals who support each other. And they support each other with ideas. They support each other with tactics, strategy, and technique. And you also mentioned they support each other monetizing, and that the engagement with the members of the group is something that I have not seen in other organizations that claim to be similar. And then, of course, is the direct contact with people like myself who are members, people like yourself. Your entire team have been just fabulous in helping me and helping the members of the C-Suite achieve whatever our goals might be. And they're as varied as the members themselves. So I'm just really impressed that it works on so many different levels. The other observation is, and I've shared this with Jeffrey, that when the pandemic hit and we all got shut down around the middle of March, C-Suite up until that time had been largely based on Jeffrey speaking, you guys going to conferences, and you completely pivoted to the new reality. And you pivoted to an online virtual platform, engagement platform, and learning platform. And from where I sit down in Houston looking at you guys, I've just seen this explosion of content that's available to me that wasn't available really before. And I've seen growth that's just incredible as well.
It's been extraordinary. And Tom, thank you. I mean, without great leadership, like the leadership that you provide, the community wouldn't work. And so it truly is tremendous. And when we look at our principles, I think it's really important that you come back to what is the organization about. And for us, being a values-based organization, you were asking about the Hero Club. It's all about how we as CEOs, founders, investors in our businesses are putting people first. And it turns out, as you well know, those are the businesses that are able to have sustainable growth, that get through challenges like we've just gone through for the last 10 months and really come out advancing by years. And so in our case, to your point, we are now at least 3 to 5 years ahead in our strat plan. In fact, we rewrote the strat plan back in May. That's how quickly our world changed from March 13th, where we were out and set to go on a cruise to speak and moderate a whole event, to March 16th when we were now home-based and figuring out what the new world would be. And our ability, our team's ability to innovate through this time and also work with the extraordinary people that we work with, like you and so many phenomenal executive leaders and business owners and influencers. We truly have innovated every single day through everything of the last 10 months.
I remember I interviewed Jeffrey in March, and he started off by saying, Tom, I have to share this with you. I made payroll this month. And that's literally where a lot of companies were. The interview was around what can you do at that point in time? And he listed 5 things that every business needed to do. And as business has changed, as the pandemic has changed throughout the summer, Q3 and Q4, the message from C-suite has evolved to each point in time. And so that there's still clear, concise, and sane business information for the business professional around the times we're in now. That really leads me to ask you, what are some of the other types of business services that C-Suite and the Hero Club brings to the business professional?
We are truly about, first and foremost, the principle of success is what you define it as. And Tom, you alluded to this beautifully. There are as many different versions of success as there are people engaged in the executive community and business ownership and certainly influencers. So first and foremost, what is it that you are looking for in your success? And then what we're doing is we're looking at how we support you in your content creation. Everybody, no matter what your role is, has to have a process of how they're getting their content, their message, their word, their IP, their brand out there into the right audiences, the right targeted audiences. So content creation, the distribution, certainly. So we have everything on the radio and TV side to distribute your content in those formats, as well as selling advertising into those formats and also advertising in broadcast TV, for example. So we have the full gamut in terms of the media aspects of our business, but then also how we actually virtually activate. So I'm sure, Tom, recently you've seen our activations with Scotty Vest. Scotty Vest is one of our partners, and you can well imagine it was a little challenging to have a travel brand going through what we've just gone through. And we have had activations that have been incredibly successful through our virtual events, and then getting that engagement socially through that experience that we have with our executives and influencers. So there are just a tremendous number of ways to get engaged. And then, of course, creating IP tracks and opportunities for our various levels of expertise to be able to be shared throughout the network and gather in community around the different topics, things like diversity, manufacturing, women's leadership, and so on. So it's really about facilitating the access you need to the intelligence you need, but also the platform, which is so important as we all come together and bring our expertise to bear. We like to use the Sequoia Tree as the metaphor for our community, where everybody's feeding into the success of that largest tree in the forest. And we're elevating everybody up into the canopy. And we have that trusted environment inside where we know who each other is, because we are in life together virtually and in person as soon as we can again. And then operating in a way that we can say, yes, we know this person, we know the work they do, and this would be a good fit for you, and so on. And that just happens incredibly organically. Coming back to the values, we don't introduce a single person into the network without having them share who they are, what they're passionate about, why they're joining C-Suite Network, and what they have to give C-Suite Network. And that sets our relevancy, reach, and reciprocity principles for everyone to understand how we play in the C-Suite, how we work together, how we collaborate, how we succeed in raising the tide for all boats to rise in our platform.
One of the areas of education I found the most striking was this summer, the social justice movement, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and diversity and inclusion. And you guys and Jeffrey put on just a series of conversations in a way that I thought moved way beyond the platitudes of, well, we're going to do things different. In many ways, they were uncomfortable conversations with people of color who had experienced discrimination literally their entire lives. But the thing that impressed me was you guys were one of the few people doing that. And that's a part of the conversation that needs to happen. And people of non-color need to understand what our brothers and sisters have gone through, and the courage that you guys had to have those conversations, I thought was just incredible.
Yes, thank you so much, Tom. I mean, one of the biggest responsibilities we have, and we're so proud to be a part of this, is creating the opportunity for difficult conversations. If you can't have the conversation, you can't learn and grow, and you can't help each other to work through the challenges of how you have your business succeed, and then also address all the issues that are so critically important to embrace. And diversity is a critical one. And you're right, there are so many platitudes out there about, it's important. But how do you actually implement against it? And one of the conversations, and certainly you can go online and see our statement about diversity and the importance we place in it. One of the conversations we were having behind the scenes was the fact that that has been such a critical component of how we've thought of building C-Suite. When you think about it, it is the most diverse platform. We do not have one group that we serve. We do not have one type of person within the group that we serve. It is truly about appreciating the diversity that everyone brings to the table. It's different expertise, it's different communities, it's different regionalities in terms of, where there's expertise in different types of businesses, stages of businesses, types of influencers that have that different level of expertise or different way that they serve executives and business owners. So our whole platform has been based on that. And in fact, we already had in our plans a diversity council because it's just something we knew and have always known is critically important. And you'll see I know you can see, Tom, the listeners can't see it, but I have a book, The Hero Club, right behind me. My business partner, Jeffrey Hazlin, wrote it. And that whole concept of hero leadership is about the appreciation of diversity. So the Hero Club, when we took it over, only had 22 members. There was almost no diversity. The one person that stood out was a woman who lived out of state, essentially. And now we have 35 to 40% women in our Hero Club. It is tremendously diverse, and it's something we work on every single day. And that makes us stronger because you can see what's happening in different businesses. What is the expertise that somebody who's in their 20s that's already bought and sold businesses has to bring to the table compared to those of us that are maybe a little bit older? And that expertise, that diversity that we bring to the table is the greatest strength. So that whole conversation and being able to embrace the difficult conversation and really put ourselves through it too, hold ourselves accountable. That is so important, and one that I'm just incredibly proud of. We create that space for the difficult conversation and for the real things to be addressed so that we can move forward faster. If you avoid them, you're slowing yourself down.
Why do you think at this point, and we're recording this in late December 2020, innovation is so critical to business success?
It is the lifeblood. And I've talked about this very regularly with my team. I'm so proud and honored to lead a team where we truly are innovating every day. You have to, and people say, fail fast. I completely disagree with that. Succeed fast. And there are stages of success, and that means putting one foot in front of the other as quickly as humanly possible. So if you're not innovating, you are losing, and you're losing ground. And in a shifting market, as quickly as we've shifted in the last year, you absolutely have to be trying things every day. So with my team, I constantly use really simple visuals. So I'll put my hands together and I'll put them in a diagonal, hockey stick kind of line. And I'll say, that's the kind of growth we need because our business model has changed. And this is the kind of growth that we can expect to see now. So the only way that we can see that kind of growth is if we have innovation pulling that line up as hard and fast as possible. And the only way to keep it going up and have it not fall immediately with the extension and the trying and the resourcing going against that innovation is by having our infrastructure fill in to hold the line, hold that upward movement on the things that we want to keep in the innovations we're trying and drop the things that aren't working as quickly as humanly possible. And my one parameter around innovation is we never let the people we serve, our members, our leaders, our partners, feel the pain of something we're learning. We only have them feel the gains of that learning. And if you keep those pieces in place with the culture surrounding how great a win that is for all of us as we deliver on our mission of serving our executives and our influencers, it's phenomenal what you can achieve.
Tricia, this is a question I have long wanted to ask you. What is it like to work with Jeffrey Hazlin?
So it's a great question, and one that I think The only way I can possibly answer it is that it is incredible. I've learned so much, and it's tremendous. At the base of it, probably the greatest learnings are about who you are, what you stand for, and how you own that in your own authentic way. And of course, Jeffrey has tremendous experience. He was the global CMO of Eastman Kodak. He's written several books, Speaker Hall of Fame. There are extraordinary tactical and strategic things to learn in his mindset. When March 16th hit, all he could say was drive and thrive. We're not medical experts. We're going to be the 911 for businesses and influencers. So there are those tremendous things, but I think at the core of it, it's really about owning who you are in your leadership. And then also, I'd say in the years of working with Jeffrey, how you take very different approaches and really build to those strengths. So we work really well together. We've created a whole language that our team uses that works really well to accentuate the strengths of each of our different styles in leadership. And so it's just been really, truly phenomenal.
Tricia, unfortunately, we are near the end of our time for this episode, but I was wondering if our listeners wanted any more information on yourself, C-Suite, or the Hero Club, where can they go?
Please don't hesitate to go to csuitenetwork.com. It's c-suitenetwork.com. And for me, it's Tricia, Tricia, at c-suite, S-U-I-T-E, network.com.
Tricia, this has been a fascinating episode. I've wanted to visit with you about these topics for a long time, and I hope we can continue the conversation.
Absolutely. I'd love to, Tom.
If you want to stay up to date on the latest innovations in compliance and help your business run more efficiently, subscribe to this podcast and help spread the word by leaving a review.